Hello everyone and welcome back to the Magnus Invitational. We are continuing with round 11 and it's Magnus Carlsen versus Nepomniachtchi. It's like Peter Svidler said, I think it was yesterday or maybe 2 days ago in the live stream. You never know which Nepo will show up at a game. Will it be Nepo who can just, destroy everyone, or will it be Nepo who blunders a piece in the opening? So here, again, very exciting, as Nepo is one of the few people that has a positive score against Magnus Carlsen in classical time format. However, this is rapid, so let's see what happens, and it's, a game like this you haven't seen in a while. So Magnus, again, opens with e4, and Nepo goes for c5, most likely preparing the knight, or we have knight to f3, d6, and now d4. We have captures. Knight to f6, and now instead of going knight to c3 and allowing a6, Magnus again goes for his the knight of denial variation, so-called, with bishop to c4. The same he played against Maxime, offering this e4 pawn, and we already explained what happens if the e4 pawn is captured in the Maxime game. But if you don't remember, we will repeat it, because here Nepo actually goes for the pawn. So Nepo grabs the pawn, and of course he checked the variation because Magnus already played it against Maxime, also in this tournament. And Magnus continues with queen to h5. Okay, you're attacking the f7 pawn. Nepo defends it, and now, like we mentioned in the Carlsen versus Maxime game, you have to go bishop to b5 check here. And then after black blocks with whatever, let's say bishop here, only then do you capture on e6, and then the game continues. Let's say if you go queen to e7, then knight to c7 check is an idea. But it all pretty much trades down. Nothing serious is happening. Knight c7 check, king here. Now you cannot capture because of knight to g3 check will win you the queen. Let's just show it here. Just knight to g3 check, and you cannot block with the queen because the knight also controls e2, so you just lose the queen here. So what you would have to go for is knight back to d5, attack the queen. Black would force a trade, and after captures, we would have, let's say, f3 goes here and bishop c4, and the game continues. Material is equal, and you just continue playing. With queen traded off. However, Magnus didn't go for bishop to b5 check. He instead immediately captured on e6. And this is just incredible, as now this is, this just blunders a piece, because Nepo captures it. And this position has been reached before, but the player with the black pieces played queen to e7 here. However, Nepo captures with the bishop, and it is as of move 7 that we have a completely new game, and as the title suggests, white is completely lost here, as he's down a piece. So, you can recapture, of course. Bishop captures. This is what Magnus played, and now, of course, the f-pawn is pinned, but queen to e7 by Nepo. And again, you face the same problems. If you move the bishop, knight g3 check picks up the queen. You cannot defend. And if you try something like castles to maybe undermine it later, it still doesn't work because of queen captures here, rook e1, threatening f3, but it doesn't matter. Just d5, you defend it, and after f3, you have bishop to c5 check. King moves, and now it's just, mate for black. So that doesn't work. So instead, Magnus played bishop captures on f7, and we have queen captures on f7, and queen back to e2 now, trying to recapture the piece, but queen back to e7. So what now? We have castles by Magnus, and now Nepo just continues with knight to f6. He wants to trade queens as he is up a piece. So how will Magnus continue this? Nepo's king is still in the center, so maybe you can still play bishop to e3 and just knight to c6. Nepo makes way to castle queen side. We have knight to c3 and d5 now by Nepo. We have queen to f3, and now with a double attack on the pawn here, and Nepo just castles while also defending the d5 pawn. Rook fe1, now preparing some nasty discoveries, and Nepo just moves the queen d7. We have knight to b5, going for the a7 pawn, but just a6. And here Magnus says, I'm down a piece, there's pretty much no point in, I either resign here or I try to go all in. So he goes a4, hopes for, of course, for captures, and then maybe he will have some ideas with the rook there. But Nepo, of course, doesn't allow the attack. Queen to g4, and now he forces a queen trade. Magnus has to trade queens, and now bishop to b6, attacking the rook here. But Nepo says, okay, I'm more than happy to grab the knight. We have a captures, and now just the knight to b8, getting the knight out of harm's way. Magnus captures the rook, but then just king captures on d8. And here we have a position where Nepo has 3 pieces for the rook. which is just insane. Of course, black is much better here, and Carlsen is extremely low on time. Yeah, I forgot to mention this. Before actually sacrificing on e6, Magnus spent like 7 minutes. So I have no idea what happened there. But yeah, h3, and now knight back to f6. We have rook to a7 going after the b7 pawn. Nepo just defends at king c7, rook to e6, and now bishop to c5. Just developing, preparing to bring the rook into the game. We have b6 with check, trying to get the rook over to the 7th rank. Nepo says okay, bishop captures, rook e7 check, and king to d6. Now Carlsen is able to capture on b7, but knight b to d7 now. And here, okay, Carlsen captures on g7, but Nepo plays king to c6, and it was in this position on move 28 that Magnus Carlsen resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. Whatever you do, you're losing the rook, so you would have to probably give up the exchange here, captures, and then it's just unplayable. It's 2 knights against the rook, and Carlsen knows that there is no point in continuing this. So what happened here, I have no idea. We're going to probably find out after the match, when Carlsen maybe sheds some light on this. But yeah, after e6, bishop b5 is a must if you want to continue playing this aggressive variation where you sacrifice a pawn, not allowing the knight off. But yeah, Carlsen spent a lot of time here, and then he just captures here, which is incredibly interesting, since this is his novelty, which he prepared for this tournament to deny the Najdorf, when he plays against Maxim Vachier-Lagrave and Jan Nepomniachtchi here. So really, really awesome stuff. I'm sure MVL is now thinking, man, I should have captured that knight. It's crazy stuff. But yeah, that's the game. I do hope you enjoyed it. This is the first time I think Magnus lost a game like this. He did lose one game in 7 moves. It was against the Grishuk, but it was a chess 960 game, Fischer random game, where Carlsen forgot that you could actually castle, the weird way like you do in chess 960. But yeah, really crazy stuff. Nepo, the Jedi master with his mind tricks. So yeah, I do hope you enjoyed it. I would like to thank Christian Sprang, Kevin Clark, Henry Spraggins, Goran Soderwall, and Lokato Zagergo for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot, I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing the coverage of the Magnus Invitational until it finishes, to check if Magnus can get back into this match. So thank you all, I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.